Hey, Shadowhunters. Shadowhunting Dauntless here. It is a late post for me. I'm getting ready to go to bed. Have no makeup on, a little disheveled from the day. So ignore all that and let's get down to business. We are here to talk about the Shadowhunters TV show behind the scenes, Into the Shadows preview thing. It aired last night. I watched it. I just wanted to soak it in. I did not make any sort of notes, so I just rewatched it and literally just finished it. Made some notes, pinpointed them because I do not want this to be a video that lasts for 10 years. So I just want to sort of get my thoughts out there, let you know. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, points of interest, I will be extremely happy to talk you through and talk about them later because I'm a fangirl and that's what I do. So, first thing, being a fangirl, this is not noted, but I need to say it, that I am so excited about the TV show. I had my doubts in the beginning, and I was sort of like on the fence, and I don't know. But as I've seen the cast and the characters and the interviews and the people, I am so for this because I love the books. They're my favorite book series, still are, and all the spin offs just make it so amazing how they all intertwine, and Cece did such a good job doing that, and I'm just so looking forward to it. I know we have a lot of movie lovers out there. I was not a big, huge fan of the movie. That's another discussion for another day, so that's all I'm saying. So we're going to go down my bullet point list here really quick so we can just sort of get it out there, get it talked about, and, not take you 5 years. So the first thing, sort of a concern for me, they were talking about the Institute, and they said they wanted it to be something out of James Bond. I have sort of a problem with that. Cece echoed that and said she made the shadow world, the Institute, and everything sort of timeless, so that you have a lot of, I guess, leeway, a lot of room to play with how you want it. But in my mind and in the books, the Institute and just the way everything worked with the Shadowhunters it was very older. They still had the books and they learned off books, and they didn't have a computer, and they definitely didn't have James Bond sort of touch screens in there. So I'm interested to see how that works out. I'm thinking that I'm not gonna like that. I'm thinking, but it might work out better. But that's really the only concern I have at the moment with everything. So my next point of interest is Magnus. Oh my gosh, Magnus in the movie, he looked amazing. He had the Magnus look down, but when he opened his mouth and talked, I was like, oh my gosh, no, just no. Um, the Magnus that I've seen, there's a few takes I've seen that his eye makeup is terrible, but for the most part, it's been really good, and he looks really good. And they did his eyes, and that he has the cat's eyes, and he has just the his speaking and the flirtatious and movements of his body, and the way he talks in these little snippets that we got to see on the behind the scenes things. I think he's gonna be awesome. So next, they did include the bike scene with Jace and Clary, so I was excited to see that. I'm really excited for the cast. I think that the people I think they're really good for the most part. There were a few that I had doubts with in the beginning that are sort of growing on me, not 100%, but it's better. But I love Dominic. I love Matthew. I love them. The guy Simon, Roberto, he is awesome. He is Simon. And Dom is so Jace, and I love Matthew Daddario playing Alec, and um, so Jace's eyes, Dominic's eyes. I was curious if they were gonna do. I really, really, really wanted them to do Jace's eyes gold because they're gold in the book. That's a big deal in the book. And I've heard rumors that they're keeping Dominic's eyes. He has one this color, one that color. I don't, which is cool-ish. But that's not Jace. So I tried to see in the little snips and the scenes. I cannot tell for sure whether or not he has gold eyes or if his eyes are two different color. The one that I saw that was fairly good, they did not look gold, but they didn't look two different colors either. So I'm not sure what's happening there. The next one, I was also concerned because in one of the previews, you see this, they have the steel and they just go, whew, and the runes appear, and I'm like, no, that's not how it is. They're supposed to draw it. So in the snippets that we saw over there, that we saw on the TV, they were in fact drawing them on. So I don't know where the whole scene came from, where she's going and they just sort of appear, but in the snips they were actually drawing them on. They talked about changes and how some people are very concerned about the book changes, and that was a big deal for me too in the beginning, because I was like, you can't take these books that we love and change them. But at the same time, they said, they made such a good point as to people like myself who are addicted to the books, and like all of you, I'm sure, who know every single thing there is about the books in and out, backwards, forwards, upside down, and twisted sideways. We don't want it to be predictable, because then we're gonna be like, oh yep, this happens or that happens or this. So they've changed some things, but they've kept the basic outline, and I'm okay with that, because they did that with Walking Dead. Any Walking Dead fans out there, give me a shout out. And they changed the comic. Like, it's still the basic storyline, the basic thing, but people die in different stages, and people, different than they were in the comics. And it works really well. So I'm hoping that same thing will happen. We get a lot of shirtless Dom. I'm so excited about that. Simon is left-handed in there was a part where he was writing something down and he is left-handed. I do not recall him being left-handed in the book. So perhaps Robert is actually left-handed, but that brings up a point of, did they make Jace left-handed? I forgot to look until I saw that Simon was left-handed, and then I was like, oh wait, is Jace left-handed? So that's a point I need to see. Alec Lightwood, oh, he's going to be awesome. I've already told you that. And they called him frustrated. I guess that's a good word for him. I cannot wait to see the on-screen relationships, not just the relationships like Clary, Jace, not just Malik and Clace and Skizzy, but all the other relationships, the Alec and Jace relationship, the Magnus and Clary relationship, just all of their relationships playing together. I cannot wait to see that. I think it's going to be epic. I love, Clary asks Magnus, she goes, why should I trust you? And he said, you shouldn't. And he just says it so, so Magnus-y. I'm so excited for that. He's awesome. Don't know how I feel about Luke being a cop. I think it's weird. I think them investigating demonic murders, I don't know, like, what is the plot behind that? Like, are there humans that are trying to summon demons? Like, I don't know. That seems a little too shadowy to be real life, to be, hiding in the mundane world. I wish he was a bookstore owner. That's a whole different discussion. I like Alec ends up training Clary at the academy, or at the institute, from what I've seen, and I like that, because anything with Alec is awesome. Dominic's accent, oh my gosh, like, his English accent's awesome, but I like him without it. His Jace accent, I like how it comes and goes in his interviews, because he's awesome. You got a lot of Malik action, so you guys, I know everyone loves Malik. Also, Magnus calls out Alec, and I don't know when it takes place, but it happens, and he calls him to ask him for a drink, and their chemistry is interesting. I'm really excited to see that. Kat says she's read the scripts, and seriously, here, a direct quote from her, there was seriously laughing, crying, gasping from all of them. Also, Dominic says he's read up to, well, I guess by now he's read, all of the scripts, because they filmed the whole season, but at the time in the interview he'd read number 12 or number 11 out of 13, and he was like, man, I need 12 because it's like cliffhanger in here, and he goes, after every script it was like cliffhanger. He didn't say that, but it was like, he said his exact words were, he would finish the script and be like, oh my gosh, I need the next one. So that tells me cliffhanger. And then the last thing is the costumes. I really think the costumes are going to work. I like them a lot better than the ones in the movie. I do have the movie poster up there, you see it. But, because in the movie, it really bothered me, it probably shouldn't have, but it really, really bothered me that Alec had that, like, shirtless, or sleeveless vesty thing. It was weird, and I did not like that. We can talk about other stuff that I didn't like in the movie, but that is a whole nother video. So this has been catching up on the Shadowhunters, in 10 minutes or less. I hope you enjoy. Like, comment, questions, comments, concerns, let me know, and I will talk to you later.